everyone. This is Stephen Balch, your instructor for Introduction to Microeconomics at Ozarka College. Today what I'm going to do is give you just a little bit of feedback on the Chapter 16 and 17 activities that I finished grading on Monday of this week. And then I'm going to tell you what we've got coming up due for our last set of chapter activities for Chapters 18 and 19. And then also I'm going to tell you a little bit about the final exam, which we'll have coming up in a couple of weeks here. All right. So first thing is, like I said, I did finish grading the Chapter 16 and 17 activities Monday. Hopefully you've already gone in and looked at your grades for those activities and read the grading comments. If you haven't done that, go ahead and do that as soon as you can. And let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Overall, most of you did well on the Chapter 16 and 17 assignment. But I did notice a few of you didn't fully answer some of the questions. Just make sure that as you're answering the questions that you answer each part of each question thoroughly, and completely. Some of you forgot to answer some of the open-ended questions below one of the tables that you had to do on your assignment. So I had to count some points off for that. So just, be mindful of that. Just make sure that you're checking everything to make sure that you're answering all parts of the assigned questions for the assignment. All right. So keep up the good work on that. Like I said, most of you did well on the assignment. On the discussion that we had for Chapter 16 and 17 that dealt with the minimum wage laws, I thought that went very well. I really enjoyed reading everyone's comments, and I think you can kind of see how it's not an easy solution to the minimum wage issue. I mean, that you can pass laws and make the minimum wage, a level that you think should give everyone a basic standard of living, but firms will react to that, and it may actually counteract a lot of the benefit from increasing the minimum wage. So hopefully everyone got something from that discussion, and you were able to kind of see, kind of take some of the things, the concepts that we're learning about in the chapters and apply it to real world situations here. All right. So like I said, I really appreciate everyone's participation on the discussion. All right. The Chapter 16 and 17 test, most of you did well on that. There were a few of you that didn't do so well. I have a feeling that those of you that didn't do so well, you just kind of started on your activities too late, and you were just trying to, do what you could to get the test completed in the time that you had. But just remember, you can take those tests as many times you want to up until the due date, and your highest grade is automatically recorded. So it doesn't hurt to take it, the test multiple times, but you have to, start on it early enough to where you give yourself plenty of time to do that. All right. All right. So that brings us to what we've got coming up due next. So right now, we are on kind of the middle portion of week 14 of the semester. If you look on the activities page here. So we don't have anything else due this week. And next week is Thanksgiving week, so I don't have anything scheduled purposely. I didn't schedule anything for Thanksgiving week. So our last set of activities is actually due the Wednesday when we come back after Thanksgiving break. So it's going to be due Wednesday, December 3rd. All right? So you've got some time to work on that, but you have to remember, keep in mind, that you're probably not going to want to do a whole lot during the Thanksgiving break. And so if you don't want to do a lot of work during Thanksgiving break, you're going to need to do some work now. And then You'll have a little bit of time after Thanksgiving break, but the sooner you can get started on that last set of activities, the better off you're going to be, and then you can kind of have your Thanksgiving break and not have to worry about trying to get that last set of activities submitted, you know, that week after. So just kind of keep that in mind. So chapters 18 and 19. Chapter 18 deals with capital, interest, and corporate finance. All right. So in chapter 18, you're going to learn about things like the role of time in production and consumption, optimal investment, the market for loanable funds, both the supply side and the demand side for loanable funds. You're going to also look at why interest rates differ. There are different risks involved, different time frames involved, and so forth. So you'll learn about some of the characteristics or properties that of various types of investments and so forth that cause interest rates to be different for different types of transactions and investments. Also, in chapter 18, we'll learn about present value and discounting. All right. And then finally, towards the end of chapter 18, you'll learn about entrepreneurship and corporate finance. Okay. So that's chapter 18. Then chapter 19 deals with transaction cost and asymmetric information. All right. Asymmetric information is just where in a transaction you have one party to the transaction that knows more information than the other party. And so when you have one party that knows more than the other, you have some issues that can arise because of that asymmetric information. So you'll learn about that. So in chapter 19 specifically, you're going to learn about the rationale for the firm, reasons that firms exist. There are a lot of benefits that firms create in the economy, and so you'll learn about some of those things. You'll also learn about the boundaries of the firm. There's kind of a limit as to how large a firm can get before there are too many inefficiencies for it to survive. And so you'll learn about the boundaries of the firm. You'll also learn about something that's very closely tied to that called economies of scope. You'll also learn about markets and, asymmetric information in both product markets and labor markets. And of course, we've talked about both of those types of markets during the course of this semester. And then finally, at the very end of chapter 19, you'll learn about something that's very interesting part of economics called behavioral economics. Some of the behaviors that can be kind of studied in the field of economics. Okay. All right. So that's chapters 18 and 19. So be working on those. Like I said, let me know if you have questions as you're working on them. Remember all the resources that you have available. You have your textbook. You have the PowerPoint slides that I posted on the assignment page in Miles Arca. You've got your videos that I've linked in Miles Arca that explain the concepts from the chapters. So just make sure you're using all those. Most of you are, but I always like to remind everyone of that. And then the only other thing that we'll have after that last set of chapter activities is, of course, the final exam during final exam week. So if you'll notice, there's a final exam under week 17 on the activities page, and it shows it's available from Monday through Wednesday of final exam week. So that'll be December 8th through the 10th. And that seems like a far time off from now, but it's really not that far. Especially when we've got Thanksgiving week in there where we're not really going to be doing a whole lot. So what I will do later this week, probably either going to be tomorrow or Friday, I will send out an email that will give you some specific information about the final exam what to study, how many questions, and how much it's worth, things like that. A lot of that stuff's already on the course syllabus, but I always like to send out some, an email that kind of explains a little bit more about the final exam. So I will be looking for that. I'll probably go ahead and send that out tomorrow. So be looking for that. And also I'll send out a reminder about this last set of chapter activities as well. All right. So be looking for those emails. And the only other thing I'd like to say today is I've really enjoyed teaching you this semester. I've really enjoyed this course or this class this semester. Hopefully you've gotten quite a bit from it as well. I've really enjoyed it. Hopefully you have as well. So I just wanted to say that since we're getting close to the end of the semester here. And other than that, enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving week. And I will talk to you again sometime after the Thanksgiving break. Thank you.